going to be starting a podcast titled Keep Teens Talking. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to
Keep Teens Talking.
Today on episode 2, we are going to be discussing 5 ways that I balance parenthood and friendship with my broke best friend. Feel free to jump in and share any stories, because we have stories for days, y'all. But feel free to share any stories about what parenting was like for you before I implemented these things versus where we are now. Mm-hmm. All right, so number 1, the very first thing, or not first thing, but one of the important things is to make sure that you are building trust in the relationship, right? And that can happen in different ways depending on your child. Yeah. I think for Kayla, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I used to be the parent that, like, as soon as she did something that I didn't like, I would, like, get on my phone and I'm going to talk about it, okay? Yeah. I'm going to talk about her. And I think maybe you could tell me now that you did not feel like I was a trustworthy person because anything that you did, I was going to tell somebody about it.
I feel like for me, like, it kind of like I see other teenagers that have problems with it and stuff, but I don't really think it bothered me as much because I was doing the same thing. Like, if you did something that bothered me, I was quick to get on the phone with my friends and say what I want to say. I have friends.
Okay, we talking about like now, or we talking about like before?
Before, I had no friends, but like before, it was just like, okay, she on there talking again, whatever. Obviously, you needed somebody to talk to, because y'all, it was a very tough time. But like the older that I got, the more I would hear, and I would just be like, okay, and then I get on with my friends.
I will say that I don't really do it as much, and I think that I can't remember what the particular incident was, but you came to me and you were like, it hurts my feelings when you talk about me. I was like, okay. You don't remember? Yes. You said that, like, oh, you didn't have to call so-and-so and tell them that. Like, it hurts my feelings. So I have practiced not doing that because, 1, I don't want to hurt your feelings. And 2, I just feel like you're always going to love your children, right? Yeah. But when you are constantly telling people the negative things about your child, like, they're not going to love them the same way that you do, right? They're going to be judgmental, or they're going to hold it against them. And so, not that anybody has done that in my, friendships or relationships, but I just decided that it's not something I wanted to do anymore. So that is one of...
Wait, I just want to add.
Go ahead.
Onto the building trust and stuff, y'all. If y'all kids come and share stories and stuff, don't get mad at them when they express what they did wrong. Like, sometimes you just gotta listen to the story and then be like, okay, I'm not gonna get mad that you admitted that you did this or you did that. Like, you can't get mad every time.
Every time, so that means they're constantly doing these things.
Well, no, but okay, let me see. I don't know, I don't know how to explain it, but I come to my mom and I share stories and stuff about what happens at school, and she doesn't necessarily drill me on the things that are happening. Not because I do anything wrong, but she I'm trying to figure out how to word it
I think what you're describing would fall more under establishing boundaries.
No, okay, hold on, I'm trying to think. So, okay, if I have a friend and she does da-da-da-da, and then I'm I come to you and I talk to you about it, you're not oh, you shouldn't have friends that da-da-da-da-da.
Oh, okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah. So, being a confidant, but not necessarily, trying to control what you do. So, I want to point out, right, there was a time where I tried to do that. Do you remember when you were at the Christian Academy?
Yes.
I was like, I don't want you hanging out with that girl anymore. Don't talk to that girl anymore. Da-da-da-da. But I think that I have learned guys, they gonna do what they want to do.
Yes, because I was still hanging out with her.
They're gonna do what they want to do. And I think that for me, it became more important that she felt safe enough to have those conversations with me versus trying to hide it because she can already predict what I'm going to do or what I'm going to say. And it's going to come across in a negative way. So I think that school year helped me to
learn a little bit,
to figure out how to navigate that trust system that we have, right? And I think another part of trust as adults is learning how to regulate your emotions, right?
Yes.
Because if I'm going to spiral every time that Kayla comes to have a conversation with me, she's not going to trust that I can handle the conversations that we're having or handle the things that she wants to entrust in me. So I think learning as adults how to regulate your own emotions is part of the building trust. Is there anything that you would add under that category?
No.
Okay. I think building trust is also being compassionate and understanding, right? If she feels like I can't handle the emotions that she has or that I can't understand where she's coming from, then she wouldn't trust me with certain information.
Yes, and guys, it is very important that your kids trust you and will listen to like the advice that you give them over asking somebody their age, because sometimes they don't know what they're talking about. So it's really good to come to your parents and have like a tight knit relationship. So, yeah.
I think that point brings me to the second way that I balance it, which is being relatable, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of times, and maybe it's the way that like we grew up, millennials grew up with our parents. There was no them coming to talk to us about, like when I was young, the most we got, and maybe this was just the Caribbean household, was, oh, you're so lucky because when I was young, I had to walk 5 miles with no shoes and I had cardboard on my feet, or like some outlandish stories that
Not cardboard.
Oh my God. I don't even know if I ever believed those stories, but it made them, appear to us like, you just don't understand me. Like, you just don't get me. And it was really hard for me to try and establish any form of a relationship with them because they're not going to understand, So I think being relatable is a very important aspect in building a friendship.
Definitely. And share those stories. All these parents, they don't be wanting to share their stories when they were teenagers, but you guys, it's beneficial. It really is.
Okay, so what story have I shared with you that has stuck with you the most?
Oh, Lord. Honestly, it's not to trust these little boys. Like, y'all, Mommy was different in high school.
Yeah.
And I was the product of different. But also, I feel like, I don't know, like, I don't understand I'm trying to figure out how to explain it. Like, one of the main ones, like, is be who you are. Like, don't try and change for other people or change to try and fit, like, in a crowd. Like, don't group yourself with one type of
like a clique.
Yeah, like, don't do that. Just be yourself and people will find you and love you for the way that you are.
Yeah.
But also, don't take everything to heart that these boys say. I promise you guys, you probably won't even be with them when you graduate. Like, no.
Now, wait. Is that based on stories that I've told you, or is that based on just like what you've experienced in my relationships? Oh, I got a good question.
I would say both. Because obviously, like, from the stories that you've told me, it was like at the brick of like me like being born and stuff, like my first year or so in life. Mm-hmm. And then you have some like in high school. But the ones that I've been like older and I
can remember.
Yeah. It was kind of like I knew some things, but also you still wanted it to be like you didn't want me to know everything.
Yeah. So I will say that, like, even though you want to be relatable, that doesn't mean that, like, you're dishing out everything. Yeah. And I think sometimes when we talk about like this whole friendship thing, people assume that like I'm sitting down telling Kayla all my business. Like, no. That's
absolutely not.
That's not the case. But I do know how to pick and choose what I'm going to share, and I do know how to be relatable. And I'm not embarrassed at all about the things that I have been through in life. If there's anything that I have gone through and I've learned from, I'm more than happy to share it with her. I don't feel like Michaela is, at least not towards me, a judgmental person. Now, is she gonna call me out?
Yeah,
absolutely. Okay, yes. She'll be like, "Mama, what? Like, why did you do that? Or why did you allow that?" And I give her the freedom to do that because I know it's not coming from a judgmental place. I am big on like self-reflection.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, like that's a different perspective. I didn't think about it like that. I didn't look at it that way. And I can learn from her just as much as she can learn from me.
But I also do think that it's not necessarily about what you say, about how you say it. I do everything in like sarcasm. So it's like you really have to know.
Sarcastic.
You really have to know when I'm being serious and when I'm joking. But 9 times out of 10, I'm joking. Like, I don't take things seriously.
Yeah, Kayla is very sarcastic. So I shared with her about
Wait. Okay.
I shared with her, and we talk a little bit about it in episode 1, but I shared with her that I had...
No laugh, please.
It's not funny. I shared with her about what I was doing at the age of 16. And so, it came out, and I think I wrote about it in my book as well. Not that you finished the book, but in the book I talked about, being pregnant at 16. That was my first pregnancy, and I had an abortion, right? And I assumed that Kayla knew about this. I thought that we had spoken about it already.
Listen,
but Kayla was like, "What? What? Where's my sibling?" Like, how unserious is that? We're having a legit conversation about things that, we can share and life experiences and things of that nature. And her first question is, where's my sibling? So yeah. She's very like funny and not very serious, which if you don't really know her can come across like, oh, she's so rude, but she's really not. The next one is being respectable to each other, right? I think that, God, especially the younger version of myself.
Pause. Say cheese.
Oh, you gotta get Pause. Okay. Is it off?
Yes.
Okay. The third way is, I believe, being respectable to one another. I think that the younger parent, right, the younger me, I assumed this role of, I own you. I'm your mom. You're going to do as I say, when I say, and how I say it. And this one right here, mother wasn't having it, okay?
Yeah.
She was not having it. I had to relearn or unlearn that ideology of like, we own our children, because at the end of the day, they have their own mind. They have their own personalities. They have their own feelings and emotions. I think I had to get to a space where it was like, I am responsible for this human being. So how do I provide her with the skills, the tools, the strategies that she needs to later on in life be successful as an adult? And I think that's really hard because, especially for millennials, and I'm going to always refer to the way that I grew up because that's the only thing I can compare it to. But growing up, it was kind of like, no, you're going to do what I say.
What's the saying?
What?
Mom used to say it all the time.
Which one? I brought you into this world and I could take you.
Yeah. Heard that my whole childhood.
Very much so a comment that my mom would say to me. So Yeah. I think a lot of times too we pass those things down. And I'm grateful that I was able to be in a position to kind of like take a step back and be like, oh no, like this is not healthy. You know, it's not healthy by any means necessary to make people feel like you own them,
Yeah.
so to speak. I think as parents, we have the luxury of birthing children because there are some families that can't, you know, there are some couples that can't. And I think that when God does bless us with children, it is not for the sole purpose of
Being slaves.
dang, that's how you felt, like a slave?
Sometimes. I don't know, like, you just had to be like, what they say, hand and foot, hand on foot. How do they say it?
I don't know. What?
Okay, hold on, let me. Like, I just had to be there every single time. Not necessarily for you, but like even sometimes like grandparents too. Mm-hmm. It's like when I say do this, do it. You used to do that a lot. Like I would be in the middle of doing something and she'd be like, "Oh, go do this," and I go, "Okay, can I finish this?" No, just go do what I told you to do. Then I gotta drop that and then go do it. Mm-hmm. But then she also used to teach me if you start something, finish it. Like it just
so never, I was contradicting myself.
It never like never aligned.
Okay, well, do you see how that has changed over time?
Yes. Now, sometimes she does. I'll be in the middle of something and she will let Michaela go do this. And I'll be like, okay. And then I'll go do it. But I do forget to come back to whatever else I was doing.
Yeah. But that's really like when it's like cooking and stuff. Yeah. Because I don't want my food to burn. Because then you're going to be looking at me like, what we eating?
Yeah. Definitely do.
Mm-hmm. So I would say that being respectable towards one another is also a very important way of establishing a friendship, you know? And again, when I say friendship, I do not want you to think that we sit down and I tell her everything that's happening in life. I don't. I respect Michaela's mind. I respect her perspective. I respect her emotions and how she feels about certain things. She is allowed to feel how she feels. She is allowed to express herself, but that does not happen without way number 4, establishing boundaries. Okay, so I am really, I don't want to say I'm hard on you. Do you think I'm hard on you?
She's not hard on me. I feel like you're not hard on me because you know that I will make the right decisions at the right time.
I know that you would try. I know.
Yeah.
I know that you would try your best to make the right decisions. Mm-mm. I can't say that I know, you know, like some things I'm like, oh, I know my kid, like, no. Or I can say, yeah, I know my kid, she probably did that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
But I do think that I am very like, no, this is a boundary. Like, this is a hard no. We're not doing that. Let me see. What are some things that, like, I have boundaries on?
Clothes. But she's a little lenient. Like, sometimes she'll be like, find a jacket for that and okay. But like, sometimes it's just a hard down no.
Yeah. I know that people are like, oh my God, you allowed Kayla to do this and you allowed Kayla to do that. And I really be having to pick my battles. Right. Some things I feel like it's worth the conversation, and some things I'm just like, I just can't right now. I just can't do. Like, she's not gonna die. It is what it is.
No, she's not gonna die.
That's really how you have to look at it, because as parents, truth be told, we are exhausted. To like, we go to work all day, especially as an educator. I'm listening to kids like all day, and so when I come home, it's just like, God. Do I want to fight this battle right now? Like, is this the hill that I want to die on?
Oh, no.
It's not. So I do think, though, that when it comes to the way she expresses herself, I do have boundaries, right? Like, you're not going to raise your voice at me. No. That's a full stop, as Jamaicans would say. You are not going to disrespect me. We are not like, let me rephrase. I am not like a big swear, like cursor. Like I do not like cursing. I do not like people cursing at me. I'm well aware that we live in a world where people curse, you know. But that is another boundary that I have. Michaela dare not.
Yeah, I wouldn't curse at my mom.
Okay, she dare not. That's a boundary. I don't want her cursing at me. I don't want her cursing around me. Do I believe she curses when she goes to school?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yo, I have told her I do, yo. When I be at school, listen, people just be trying me every day, like.
Anybody trying?
Yes, it's just so stressful being at school. Like, sometimes you gotta cut up.
As long as, what am I gonna say? As long as
home,
no teacher calls my phone, okay? Do not call my phone, because then I'm gonna break my foot off in her behind.
See.
Not really, y'all. Not really. But that is a boundary. Let me see. I'm trying to think of
more
any other boundaries that we have as far as like our relationship is concerned, not necessarily like what you can and cannot do or where. All right, moving on. All right, so the final one, number 5.
Numero
5. There you go. Numero 5. Number 5, I think it would be to reform, right? And so this word reform, I think people take it as like I have to completely be somebody different or a different type of parent or person, and that's not necessarily the case. I think reforming is just understanding that like, yo, this is not working and I need to switch something up, right? When I was younger, I definitely thought that like Michaela was 100% the problem. Like everything that Michaela was doing was wrong, and I needed to fix her. I needed to change her. And I think sometimes as parents, we can be prideful in that way and think that like I'm doing everything right because this is what my parents did for me and I turned out great. But no, I mean, I'm a great person.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of trauma. I have a lot of things that I have to deal with and work through and heal from. And so I know that, and I don't know who I was talking to about this. I'm like, when Kayla gets older, she's going to be sitting in her own therapy. I think I was talking to my therapist. I was like, Kayla's going to be sitting in her own therapy sessions, talking about all of the ways that I traumatized her, right? But regardless of what we do, we are not perfect. We're never going to be perfect people, perfect human beings. That's just not the way God created us. We are imperfect in so many ways. And I think that just being able to say, dang, I didn't do that the right way. I want to change this. And it doesn't have to be a complete 180, right? I can go to Michaela and be like, I'm sorry. I didn't do that, or I didn't say that in the best way. And, you know, it came out that way because I was feeling this way. And that goes back to being able to regulate your own emotions and self-reflect on like, okay, what happened in this conversation? Why did it just go completely left like that? Why are you laughing?
Because, like, a lot of parents, and even, like, adults in general, they don't like to say, I'm sorry. And in the beginning, mommy, listen, you would not get an ooh, hold on. Okay. A lot of adults, like, and even my mom, you could not get, like, an I'm sorry out of her. I think if she knew that something, like, went wrong or went south and it was a little bit her fault, it would just be like, oh, come eat, dinner's ready. That's how it would be. Yeah. Or like, oh, do you want to watch TV? No. So it would definitely be like that.
I can see that, right? Because I don't know what the guy's Instagram handle is, but he talks about or does skits about what black people do or black parents do. And that was one of them. Like after a parent was like yelling or something and they were completely wrong about the situation, it was just like, you want to go to the store?
Yes.
I can agree that is how I used to be. I don't think I operate in that space anymore. But I think there are times where, like, Kayla and I have a disagreement about something, and we have the conversation, but then it's like, it's a little tension, it's a little awkward.
Yeah, I still want to be mad, and then she be wanting to crack jokes and be funny.
Yeah,
and
because
like,
why?
Okay, Mom. That's really how it goes. Like, okay.
So we do, like, hash it out, for lack of a better term. We do talk about it. We do clear the air. But then afterwards, you know, it's still just
a little spacious.
It's not. It's still a little distant. And so I'm just like, let's kill this. Let's dead this right here.
Yeah.
But you do it sometimes too.
Sometimes.
She'll try and feel me out. Yeah. She'll do something or say something, and before she comes to apologize, she's going to try to feel out the situation. Like, oh, Mommy, you still doing your hair? And then I'm like, girl. And I'll be real short with her.
Yes.
And then I get like a text message. I'm sorry. That's another boundary of mine. Don't text me apologizing. Absolutely not. You need to come see me.
Yes.
Come see me. Yeah. So
no, I've gotten in trouble just for trying to apologize through text message.
Yeah, I don't believe in that. Like, you can text me and ask me for things like, hey, Mommy, can I this? Hey, Mommy, can I that? But don't text me an apology. Come see me.
And also, like, with the fifth one, I think that is also important for, like, parents to remember. It's okay, like, if you try, like, to reform and you still have to keep going back.
Yeah, oh, that's a really good point.
I think for us, it took, like, 3 different times. I would say in elementary, we reformed somehow. Then middle school, we reformed somehow. And then we got to high school, and that was kind of like the final reforming. So, like, it can take a few days. It could take months, weeks, years.
Yeah.
You just got to kind of, like, keep working on it. Because even throughout, like, the time, people change.
Yeah.
And how we view things changes. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think that as you go through life, you experience different things, and then that changes your perspective. Mm-hmm. And then how I felt about something last week, like, I'm not feeling that same way this week. And so a conversation needs to be had. But to touch on what you said at first, it takes time. Like, this started when Kayla was 7. I think 7 was where...
13 months.
No. 13 months is when you started cutting up. But at 7, I think, is when you got to that age where you're like, you know what? I don't like this for me.
Yeah.
Right? And I think it was with that girl.
Yes.
The girl that lied on you.
Yes. Let me tell you guys.
Story time.
I was bad. Like, I was bad, but I was bad with reason. Like, people really just used to have it out for me. So, I was I don't want to say school, but I was back in Tampa at one of, like...
You were in second grade. Second grade, right? Yeah, 7 years old, second grade.
So that was down here?
No.
In Tampa?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I was in second grade, and I was known, like, for the year before, and in first grade, I was known for, like, you know, running out of school and stuff.
Yeah, she would elope.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. For all the teachers out there, she was that student.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to second grade, and I only ran out of classroom one time that year. And it was because, I don't remember what happened, but, like, me and this girl, we were talking, and I thought she was my friend. Side note, not everybody is your friend. Acquaintances, very much. So we were talking, and she was like, oh, yeah, I know how to turn the principal against you. So I was just like, girl, what? You know? But obviously, I was bad, so at that time, anybody could do it. It was easy work. So then, I think, what happened? I don't know, but I went into the classroom that day, and she lied to my teacher and said that I was the one that said I could turn the principal against her. Yeah. I just had to take a minute. I looked, and I ran right out that classroom. Because, like, yeah, I used to be so heated, and I don't fight, but listen, anytime you see tears running down my face, yeah, we gotta get physical. I had to run, and then I think I ran for a little bit, and then I came back, and I just hid behind her door, and I watched her look both ways and walk out, and then I turned myself into the not a person.
I turned myself in.
Yes, I turned myself into what was her name? Miss Bowen.
Yeah, Miss Bowen.
Shout out to Miss Bowen. That's
She
a
was
real
a real
one.
one.
Yes,
She was a real
one.
Yeah.
Turn myself in right next door. So sometimes parents believe what your kids tell you because these teachers lie, the administrators lie.
Okay.
The kids lie. It's favoritism everywhere. So yeah.
Anyway, I think that particular situation for Kayla was like, I can't have people not believing me, right? And I think that there has been, excuse me, that incident and another one where like I did not believe her, and I'm so big on that now, like not putting her in situations where I would have to believe one person or the other. Like, no. And I think too that has helped to establish trust between us, because like, don't lie to me, you know, like that's my biggest thing. I have gotten so many whoopings for like lying, so it's not something that like I practice, and I don't expect for Michaela to lie to me. And I've, you know, taught her that it is really hard for me to go to bat for you if you lie. So that boy that cried wolf, don't let that be you.
But also, don't be fooled. I try my best not to lie. The only time I'll lie is if like I'm telling you a story about my friends or like some girls that like I don't like, and I leave out what I did. Cause I have to leave it out. But like when it comes to serious situations, like when I'm in the moment, I try my best to make the right decisions so that there is nothing to lie about. Cause I genuinely, I don't like lying either, and my friends know that. Like, you can't get me to lie. It's just not gonna work out. Cause I'm too scary for that. I'm too scary. But even if I do lie, this one, she goes to sleep at night and she wakes up with the truth. So
yeah, I will say, God has really blessed me, I guess we can
sometimes
say.
He be a op.
And there will be times where he sends me dreams, and I'm gonna go to Kayla about it, okay?
So I had a dream and I'm trying to figure out what? Okay. Yeah. I don't even know. And
oh my God. I think that instills fear in you.
Yes. Time for that. And Lord, forgive me. If the first dream isn't enough, it'll be a second one a few months later, and I'll just be like, baby, I don't even know.
And that's something too, like I am really good at like holding things.
Yes.
So like I'm gonna be like, oh, okay, I peep, and I'm gonna remember that, and then I'm gonna wait until I have a big enough case against you, and I'm just gonna lay down the law. Yeah,
that's a problem.
That's definitely me. But I think that brings me to, and maybe we can discuss this in another episode, because I know we're running out of time, but peer pressure.
Oh yeah.
Like what that's like in today's society versus when I was young.
Oh yeah,
Oh, that's interesting.
Peer pressure in the 90s versus peer pressure in the 2000s.
Okay, well, 2000s? Hold on. Because I was born in the 90s.
See,
excuse me.
Millennial peer pressure versus Gen Z.
Okay, that's the better one. That's the better one. We can get with that. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I really enjoyed this segment.
It was good.
If there's anything that you would like to add or want us to discuss in another topic or future topic, go ahead and drop it in the comment section below. Is there anything else? Did I leave anything out?
Comment, like, and subscribe.
Yeah, comment, like, and subscribe. Until next time, you guys be blessed. Bye.